I got some news. You probably have not heard yet, if it's okay if I can go to this.
Can you go to that?
Triple H spoke at the press conference for Backlash, the WWE pay-per-view event taking place tonight as we are recording in Puerto Rico. He commented on the heavyweight title tournament that begins after Backlash for the new championship.
Oh, okay. So the World Heavyweight Championship will be the new title belt that they are awarding. Roman Reigns holds what? It was the world title, wasn't it? And the Universal title?
It's now just the undisputed Universal Championship.
But they're about to dispute it.
Technically, they're only disputing it on planet Earth. He's Universal.
Son of a bitch, they got me there. So, but like, okay, wait a minute. There's an international waters like limit. Like after you're 12 miles out, it's in international waters. How high up in the air do you have to be before you're out of the influence of planet Earth and you can consider yourself just the undisputed universal champion because you're out there in the universe?
I don't know how high up you have to be for that, but you have to be pretty high up not to think Vince McMahon's the one making all these decisions right now.
Well, I was about to say the person that's making the decisions is pretty high. But so anyway, so Roman will be the undisputed Universal Champion, and he has been drafted to SmackDown. Therefore, they have announced that the other champion, the World Heavyweight Champion, will be exclusive to Raw. That was the phrase they used, right? Exclusive to Raw.
That's right.
And one would figure then that the twain wouldn't meet, that Roman's on SmackDown and that this guy's on Raw, and
we just spoke about this. We just spoke about all the various options because Heyman made that comment in the promo on Monday.
But I'm bringing the people up to date on here's where we are, and they have yet to tell us how that this champion is going to be determined, just that it's going to be on the Raw brand.
Well, here's Triple H at the press conference. Feel free to tell me to stop at any point.
Okay.
But starting after Backlash this Monday night on Raw, we will begin a World Heavyweight Championship tournament. It will be across both brands. On Monday Night Raw, there will be 2 triple threat matches with the winners facing each other.
Wait, ho.
Don't call him a hoe.
Whoa, Nella, pump the brakes. And I'm going to say, you're going to have to back up a minute because triple threat matches, I don't want to bury one of the leads, but Jesus, we can't even get a tournament with legitimate matches and eliminations among top people. We have to have this triple threat horse shit. But he just said across both brands. Well, how does that work then if the guy's exclusive to Raw? If one of the SmackDown people wins it that has just been drafted from Raw to SmackDown.
That's right.
Then do they have to go back? Or if they've been drafted and they were already on SmackDown to begin with, they now automatically would go to Raw? But why are you giving SmackDown people a chance at a title that's going to be exclusive to Raw to begin with? Play the rest of it.
There was no reason to introduce a new championship to begin with, but let's go back to this. And in the week since they've introduced it, they've come up with multiple reasons, but let's go.
It will be across both brands. On Monday Night Raw, there will be 2 triple threat matches with the winners facing each other later that night to determine a winner for Monday Night Raw. That Friday on SmackDown, the same thing will happen. 2 triple threat matches will take place.
God.
Those winners will face each other at the end of SmackDown to determine a winner there. Those 2 winners from Raw and SmackDown will then go on to Night of Champions, where one of them will be crowned the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh, boy.
Well, there it is. There's the news.
The only part of that I understand is I know why old Vince, 2 triple threat matches, and then the winners at the end of the night. That way they're going to keep people from start to finish, or that's what their goal is to accomplish, is to keep whoever the viewers are they start with all the way till the end, especially on Raw, which they don't usually do. And And also, if they're going to have to work twice, they're going to have probably the triple threat matches, the first, hour of the program or on early, and then the single match on last. Anyway, to give the guys a breather. But then in 1 week, they can't even say, okay, June is tournament month or May is tournament month. We're going to have elimination matches in the tournament every episode of the program this month until the finals are at the end of the month. They can't even draw that out and have elimination matches. They go, okay, 4 three-way matches in 1 week, and then 2 elimination matches, and the winner gets the pay-per-view. What the? In
Saudi Arabia.
The title picture in Saudi Arabia. All this is going to do is, as we've talked about, and I don't mean to go over it and belabor it in case anybody else hasn't heard, though, they're going to devalue what they've done with Roman Reigns, that he's had this dominant reign and he became the undisputed champion, and that's why everything was drawn and working and clicking. And then all of a sudden, but there's another champion, and for all the reasons that we've been talking about. And again, I just imagine if Vince had gone to Hulk Hogan and said, hey, guess what? You're the world champion of Saturday night's main event and Superstars, but on Wrestling Challenge, we're making Savage the world champion. Holy fuck.
Do you think maybe this is a way, including both brands, maybe this is a way to get out of it? Either get the belt on Roman or just some way to get out of the idea that I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume anything, but when they first created this belt, because you can't just make a new belt overnight. I thought the idea was maybe you replace the 2 belts for the Universal Championship with this. But instead now there'll be another belt. Is this a way of tying everything together to fix this?
But it won't fix it unless Roman wins. Why would Roman be in the tournament?
Because Heyman said he may be. I'm not saying that's a good reason why, but Heyman
they said partners might be split up in the draft. They said they drafted 5 people at a time for 1 pick. They said a lot of things. Why would Roman, if Roman's in the tournament, then that means, first of all, you'd have to have Roman Reigns work twice in one night on live TV, and then at the pay-per-view, he would have to basically win a secondary title. And then why did they do this to begin with? It didn't last 6 weeks. And
poor Triple H has to go out there and give the explanation each time that keeps changing. He had to do it for the draft, and now he has to do it for this.
Now he knows how Donald Trump's defense attorneys think. That's the thing. They're just, I don't even know now if this is a network thing, like USA saying, well, we don't get the champion, and SmackDown saying, well, we want a champion, as much as I think Vince is back fucking things up again. And it's almost like clockwork that every time the WWE starts taking off again and looking like they're running and leaving Tony Khan in the dust, they manage to shoot themselves in the foot. And remember, we've been laughing about it for a year. It's like a promotional war that nobody wants to win. So then Vince comes back, and now everybody's got a bad taste in their mouth, and they're hate buying tickets to Wembley Stadium. And the WWE, meanwhile, instead of giving the people a finish to the hottest story they've had in years, that story became the never-ending story. And now they're splitting up the belt that Cody didn't even get a chance to win yet. Same one that they stole from my daddy in the garden. So all this shit's getting fucked up because apparently Vince is back and he's 10 pounds heavier and several shades darker, and he's in charge. And now, again, wrestlers are going to be like, fuck, we might not be in the bloodline. We might get flatlined. Let's go over to play in the sandbox with Tony's friends.
Triple H can't be happy about this. He looks miserable saying some of these things, even though he does a good job of trying to get people pumped up.
Yeah, but you can tell because he's got even more wrinkles in his forehead than he normally does whenever he has to announce or, relate the information to one of these things that he knows deep down he's not going to be able to make sense out of, but he's trying. And the thing is, when you hear Vince explain some of these things, he makes them make sense, but nobody else can do it like that.
Vince can't do it like that anymore.
Well, not anymore. But you know what the problem is, don't you, Brian?
I can think of a few.
The problem with all of these people is they don't take care of their gut health. That's the biggest problem, I think, is people not taking care of their gut health. 'Cause, you get the gut feelings of things you ought to go with and you ought to do.
Right.
And you'll hear all these entrepreneurs and these millionaires have said, boy, I just had a gut feeling that I was going to invest in amalgamated buggy whips. Well, sometimes if you don't take care of your gut health, that gut feeling could just be acid reflux or too much carbonation or an undigested bit of beef from your soup. And then you're not farting through silk. You've just shit and fell back in it.
What are you talking about?
I'll tell you, it's all about the gut health. And folks, our friends at Seed, the makers of Seed's DS01 Daily Synbiotic, they have sent some more information on exactly how big of a help this is, how much it helps you support all the things you need to support in the way of your gut health and blood cholesterol, heart health, skin health, digestive health. Do you know that Seed's DS01 Daily Synbiotic, Brian, is free from 14 classes of allergens?
I believe I heard you say that once before. I did know that, yes.
It's sugar-free, vegan, soy-free, sesame-free, gluten-free, peanut-free, glyphosate-free, dairy-free, shellfish-free, and corn-free. I don't even know how to take that. They're free of me. There are no binders. That means when you take this stuff, it won't bind you up. You'll be able to poop freely. It actually promotes the freeliness of pooping. Not like just uncontrollably, just wherever you might be standing, but when you need to do it. There's no preservatives in the Seed's DS01 Daily Synbiotic, and it's compliant with Prop 65. Whatever that may be, it's got no problem with it. It's firmly within the constraints, which is, I would look up the word compliant, but you got the picture. What you do, you take 2 capsules once a day on an empty stomach, and you don't have to starve yourself when you first get up in the morning, unless are you a sleep eater, Brian? My cousin Richard was a sleep eater.
No, when I sleep, I sleep. I'm a sleeper.
No, you've heard people that sleepwalk. They'll walk around in their sleep. No, he was a sleep eater. He'd go in the kitchen, just eat a loaf of bread, just bread, just gobfuls by hand, or just put his face in a pie in the refrigerator. And the next morning, he wouldn't know a thing about it, except for all the fucking meringue on his chin. Anyway, if you do it, or 2 hours after your last meal, you can take the Seed's DS01 Daily Synbiotic. Not your last meal, like if you're on death row. I guess if you're on death row, you don't need to worry about your gut health. If it's your last meal, you're not going to dovetail that quickly. But your last meal of the day, you take it after that, boom. And it's engineered to survive your internal environments. Basically, it means it goes straight to your colon and stays there. And it promotes your digestive health. 16 of their 24 strains are specifically geared toward digestive health. And it reinforces stool hydration. And now you want your shit to be somewhat wet. A dry shit would be like sandpaper. Now you want the proper, I guess, mixture, right? You want not too wet and not too dry, kind of just right, because if it's really wet, there's the splashing. But it promotes or reinforces ease of evacuation. Every time I take a dump, the place that I'm in evacuates pretty fucking easily, right quick. Boom, just like that.
If it was dry, wouldn't it also promote splashing if a big dry thing hit the water?
Oh, you still got water up there in your toilets? See, you got to get one of the new ones. It doesn't have water in it. It's got a little fucking hand that flips up and catches it and then fucking flips down underneath the thing and spikes it. And folks, again, gut ease from occasional gastrointestinal discomfort associated with increased intestinal transit time. Intestinal transit time, apparently that's, well, it's like a traffic jam in your colon down there. And when the poop gets stuck at a crossroads and you've got gridlock because you got one turd is crossways and the other turd's long ways and it can't get by, well, this will ease that issue. It's like a traffic cop of poop in your gut. And also it promotes skin health. And do you have to rub the poop on your skin? Wait a minute. No. If you take this, it'll work from the inside. So you do not have to have poopy skin.
Of course you don't. Why would you even bring that up as an option?
Well, because it seems like that those things would be different, but apparently the better digestive health you have also, then your skin is glowing and bright and radiant.
Right, and you said don't wipe it all over yourselves. Why would anyone do that?
Well, I was thinking, I went right from the ease of pooping and the ease of bloating. I guess it's pretty easy for me to get bloated anyway. I don't need any help with that. Oh, this eases bloating. I see. It went right from pooping and bloating to skin. I thought it was some kind of new skin treatment, but that obviously wouldn't work. I tried it. Anyway, so then you're going to maintain your blood cholesterol levels with this Seeds DS01 Daily Symbiotic. And I'm not even to where I can talk about gut barrier integrity, gut immune function, or micronutrient synthesis as of yet. We'll talk about that on a later program. But basically, if you don't want to die a horrible, painful death of stomach rot, well, nobody wants that. You need to go right now to seed.com, SEED.com/drive. Use the code DRIVE to get 25% off your first month of Seeds DS01 Daily Symbiotic. It's all a biotic you're going to need, whether pro, anti, post, or pre, or sin. It's all right here. Smart people have put this stuff together. Too smart for me because I don't even understand how they describe it. Go to seed.com/drive. Use the code DRIVE. Redeem 25% off your first month of this fine product to keep you pooping freely and bright and radiant. You'll look like you're pregnant if you take this product. Not in the bloating stomach.
You won't.
But not in the bloating stomach, but in the radiant, glowing skin of your face. You've heard that said before. Well, have any of the various women that you've impregnated and looked glowing and radiant?
First of all, let's not talk about the various women I've impregnated. Second of all, of course, all pregnant women look glowing and radiant.
Yeah, well, you'll look like you're pregnant if you take Seeds DS01 Daily Symbiotic. And 9 months later, you may be able to write it off as a tax deduction.
No, you won't. But Seed